Hi there, Executive Coach Amy Sanchez here to talk you through a very simple yet very effective exercise that you can do with your team or with your company during times of critical transition to help you sail through the change very smoothly. It's called Start, Stop, Continue. Let me give you 4 examples of when this is a really good exercise for you to use. Number 1, when you are at a critical crossroads, when there's something happening in your company where if you don't make a decision, if you don't pivot, you're going to be headed down a very negative path. This is a great exercise to pull out best practices from your team and really understand where to focus your efforts. 2, if you are a new manager, so if you've come in and you've taken over a new team, it's always good to give your new team a venue to share their thoughts and their feedback. So without guessing, you know exactly where to go to be an effective manager and to use your team to the best of their ability. 3, if you want feedback, if you want to make feedback actionable. So for example, I'm currently working with a biotech company who has gotten a company engagement, survey results from a company engagement, and they're trying to decipher how to make some of this feedback that they've gotten actionable. So we're doing a start, stop, continue exercise with all of their different teams to really understand how they can do that. Finally, another good example is if you've gone through a large transition like a merger or an acquisition or COVID, 4 to 6 months after a large transition is a great time to do the start, stop, continue exercise. People have had enough time to come up with learnings. They can compare and contrast past with present to come up with a really actionable and solid plan for the future. So now that you have a good idea of how to use this exercise, let's talk about how you do it. So one of the things I love most about this exercise is it's really easy, which those tend to make for the best workshops. So all you're going to do is if you're in a room with your team, you're going to write start, stop, and continue on 3 different places in the room. Usually these are whiteboards or they're flip charts where people can go and they can start brainstorming. And you're going to ask the team your critical question. Team, I'm a new manager. I'd love your feedback about what you'd like to start doing that you weren't doing before, what you'd like to stop doing that you were doing before that isn't working for you, and what you want to continue doing, what you have been doing that's been working really well that I need to take into consideration as I lead this team into success. And you have a very open and honest brainstorming session with your team. Now, they're going to love that you're soliciting their feedback. People like to have their voices heard. You're also going to help get buy-in as you start to go through this exercise with your team because they have the opportunity to voice their input and share with you what they think is going to work. So all around, you're ticking a number of very important leadership boxes along the way. So that's how you're going to do it if you're in a room with people. Now, if you're virtual, like most of us are right now with COVID, Zoom gives you an opportunity to create different breakout rooms. So when you begin your meeting, you'll see that as an option. And so what you can do is have people break up into different rooms via Zoom, go off, do the brainstorming, and then come back and report. 5 is your magic number for this workshop. If you've got a group that's larger than 5, you'll want to break them into smaller groups. I recommend the ideal size for this type of a brainstorming is 5. If you get too many people, you're going to have those people who don't tend to be comfortable talking in general in groups. They're going to clamp up. If you get a smaller group, the propensity to get those people to speak is going to increase. And it's a little more comfortable, it's more conversational when you get in different groups. Also, once you start to break into different groups, you get to compare feedback to see if it's similar between teams, so it's kind of nice. But in general, this is your magic number to shoot for, is you want 5 people in a group. Now, finally, once you've got all of your feedback from your stakeholders, from your team, the way that you're going to incorporate this feedback in order to make change is one of 2 ways. One, as a team in the room, you can decide, hey, here are the things that are congruent across the different viewpoints. Here are the things that aren't. We're going to move forward with these things. And then walk out of that team meeting with a very actionable plan about what you're going to start, what you're going to stop, and what you're going to continue. Otherwise, you as the leader can take the feedback that you've gotten from your team and then you decide how to move forward. So really depending on you, your organization, your style, and how much time you have. Finally, 2 ways that I've seen this work really, really effectively. One is when I had a new manager start and she did the start, stop, continue with the new team. It really, really helped to gain her credibility because she wanted our feedback, she solicited our input, and we knew she wanted to succeed and we wanted to help her succeed. The other way that I've seen this work is with this biotech that I'm working with who has just gotten company feedback. They're trying to figure out how to make the input actionable. And so we're going through a start, stop, continue exercise with all of the different managers' teams to really understand how to move forward in a way that's really honoring the employees' needs, but then also aligns with their mission and their objectives as a company. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope this is an exercise that might be helpful in your organization, particularly now in a post-COVID era. People have pre and post-COVID situations to compare to one another. There's a number of companies that I'm talking to about doing this type of an exercise so they can really figure out how to effectively pivot now that we're in this new space for an unforeseen amount of time. I'm happy to help you. If you do need a facilitator, you can find me by going to swimagainstthecurrent.com. Again, my name is Amy Sanchez, and good luck to you.